If you're an international student in the US and you want to know how to buy a car, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know. I have owned 3 cars in the US. The first 2 were used cars, and the last one is a brand new car that I bought. And my third car, which is my current car, is about 3 years old now. But then I've had friends who have bought cars recently, so I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about that as well. I'm going to tell you where you can find the cars to buy. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me a lot. All right, let's get started. So like I said, I'm going to tell you how I bought each of my 3 cars. Now, about the first car, it was in 2018. There is this guy, this friend who, found a car on Craigslist. And so he contacted the person, and then he drove to Dayton with Francis, who is my senior man. So they went to check on the car, and when they got there, they drove the car. The car, ran smoothly. But then the guy felt the car is too big. It's 8-seater, Hyundai Santa Fe. So he felt the car was too big, and he was concerned about fuel consumption and all of that. So he decided not to buy the car. So when they got back, Francis told me about a car that, oh, it's actually a good car, you should go ahead and buy it. And for me, whenever Francis says something, I take it very seriously because he's somebody who has my interest at heart. And so when he told me, I was like, oh, okay. So I think the final price was $2,500. The car was owned by a man who is in, I don't know, his 50s or 60s, and he had other cars, but then that car had been parked for a while and he just wanted to get rid of the car. Francis and I, we went there, and then we drove the car around, and it was really cool. It just felt so big at the time, Yeah, we gave him the money. I think it was $2,500, if I remember correctly. It was $2,500. So the paper was not ready because he had to go and I don't remember. He had to go and do something. I don't remember all these details, but we kind of trusted him, and so we took the car away. We drove the car to Athens, Ohio, and so when the paper was ready, he mailed the paper to us. We used the paper. We went to the DMV to register the car. The registration, the tax, everything, and if I remember correctly, I think it was about $250. I registered the car, and then we took the car to a mechanic to look at everything about the car to make sure everything works well. And we checked if the car has a recall. I think the car had a recall or something, so we took it to a dealer, and when a car has a recall, whatever the recall is about is going to be fixed for free. So we did all of that. And so I started using the car. Now, the reason that I actually bought the car, apart from Francis saying it's cool and all of that, me alone, big car. But then it was 2018, and at the time I was expecting so many students to come to Ohio University in 2019. And so I felt, wow, this is really going to help me. I really need a car like this. It was just like the right moment, because I was expecting a lot of students. So yeah, I bought the car, and the car was really helpful to so many people. I use it to transport so many people to so many different places. So yeah, it was actually a good deal. And there were no issues with the car. I think there was a leakage or something, a tiny one, which was fixed later on. So there wasn't anything. Everything was really good. So after that, I was moving to Columbus, Ohio, and I was going to be alone. And I didn't really need a big car anymore because I'd use the car to do whatever I wanted to, use it for. And so I wanted to get a small car so that I don't have to spend too much on fuel and all of that. So I reached out to the guy because the guy had kind of gotten into selling used cars and stuff like that. So I reached out to the guy, and he got me another car, which I think he sold it to me for $4,500. That car is actually very new. It hadn't been used for too long, but then the car was in an accident, and so the car, the insurance declared it as a salvage car, and so the car lost its value. And so yeah, so he got it to me like that, and that was really a good car, and I drove it for a while. Now, the first car, the mileage was about 140,000, if I remember, the Santa Fe. So when I was planning to come to Illinois, I decided to get a new car, and so I traded in my current car, which at the time was the Ascent. And so I traded that car in, and I decided to, so at the time it was during the COVID. This is 2020. This is 2021 actually, so more like after the COVID or something. It's still kind of part of COVID period. And so Hyundai was giving deals, and so I actually came across the deal online, I believe. And so I think I got about $2,000 discount. And then also they said there is 0% APR. 0% APR means you are not going to pay interest, and you have 5 years to pay, which at the time I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. If I'm not going to pay any interest, it means every month I only have to pay, a small amount. And also I traded in my car. When I wanted to trade in that car, they wanted to give me 1,500 because they said it's an accident car and has lost value, and if they resell it, they're not going to get much. I said, okay, if you want to give me 1,500, then I'm not selling it. Then they were like, okay. What is my final value? I said $3,000. So that's what I got from that car. And so then we went through all the paperwork stuff. So they actually, at the time, what helped me was my credit score. I tell students a credit score is extremely important. I didn't have money to buy the car, like, everything, to pay for everything. So I decided to take advantage of the 0% APR and also trade in my car, reduce the amount, and also add some money, down payment. If I remember correctly, I think the down payment I made was $5,000. So it's like the value of the car reduced by about $8,000. Now here in the US, when you buy a car, you have to pay for title and tax and stuff like that. And all of that put together, I think it was about 2,500 or so in Ohio. Every state is different. Some states, it will be a bit more, some will be a bit less also. If I remember correctly, I think it was about 2,500 that I paid for the title and stuff like that, the fees and all those stuff. The car was actually manufactured in May 2021, and I bought the car in July 2021. So it was like brand new. Like the mileage, it was very small. I don't remember, probably like 30 miles or so, when I bought the car. So now when you buy a new car, it comes with a lot of advantages. And for me, if you have the money, don't buy a used car, because used cars, somebody has driven it for a long time, somebody has taken care of the warranty on it and all of that. When I bought this car, I got 5 years warranty on the powertrain. The powertrain has to do with the engine and all those stuff. So if there is something wrong with it, they are going to replace it, fix it for free and all of that. And also it came with free oil change for, I don't remember how maybe for like 30 miles or so. It came with all sort of benefits. That's the thing about buying a new car. But then also, if you want to buy a new car, I want to caution you, the dealers will try to add so many things on top of the actual price. So if you're not careful, you end up paying a lot more. So you have to be very vigilant and tell them you don't need anything, you just need a car, right? So that's something that I need to tell you. And then once you have the car, you can, before you actually buy the car, in my case, I had to drive it around to make sure everything felt good and this is exactly what I wanted and all of that before I went ahead and paid for the car. And like I was saying, they will do credit check to make sure you have a good credit score. I've made a video about credit card, so you want to check that video out. So then once they make sure you are, your credit score is good, and they will approve it. And then, so yeah, since I got a car, it's been more than 3 years and I still have a little bit more to pay. But yeah, so that's how I got my third car. Now, in the past, how I know people bought their cars, okay, there are several ways. One is the Craigslist that I mentioned. A lot of people bought their cars through Craigslist. There was somebody who, a friend of mine who bought a car for $500 on Craigslist because the person just wanted to get rid of the car, and the car was very weak, and if you need a car, then that can actually help you. So yeah, she bought a car on Craigslist. That the person was in Athens, so this one we didn't have to go anywhere. We just met the person, and then she bought a car. Then the other one, another person also bought a car in Columbus, and so we drove to Columbus. I drove with the guy. We went to Columbus, and I think that one he paid like $1,000 or so. That one, the person wanted to just get rid of the car, right? So, and he had a lot of issues with the car. She also had some issues with her car actually. But yeah, but at least the car was helpful in some ways. Like their cars helped them a lot. So yeah, you cannot really complain too much. But then there was also a lady. We bought a car, we found a car on Craigslist. I think the person was located just outside Columbus, Ohio. So we drove there, we checked on the car, we drove the car around. I had this small device. We scanned the car to make sure that everything is good about the car, and we drove it around and all of that before we made payments. And then and then also there is another way that you can buy a car. You can buy a car. When you are on campus, when you go somewhere, you can just look around. People tend to put for sale on their cars if they want to sell it. So that is also another way you can buy a car. You can buy cars. So I actually think it is better to buy a car from an owner, because an owner probably has taken very good care of the car. So buying it from the owner is helpful. If you go to a dealer, dealers tend to take advantage of people. The price that they are going to quote to you is probably going to be a lot. So most of the time, I like to avoid dealers unless I'm going to buy a new car, from from the factory, then to the dealer, then I can buy from there. But for me to buy a used car from a dealer, that's not what I like to do. And there were a lot of people, when they came to Ohio University, they wanted cars, and so Ohio University has a credit union that approves people for loans to buy cars. So there were a lot of people who actually went for loan to buy cars, at Ohio University, and it comes with interest, obviously, but the interest, I think, is very low. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like 6%, which is not bad. So there were a lot of people who, and the way that works is that the credit union, not just credit union, it can also be normal banks like Chase Bank and all of that. So they have their own companies that you can buy the car from. So you go to the website of the company that is selling the car, and then you go through what they have, and then you buy the car. When you buy the car, the credit union is going to communicate with the car company, and then everything will be done, and then you get the car. But then you're not going to get a title, which gives you ownership to the car, right? That's just how it is. They can give you something to register the car. So in my case, for the new car that I got, right, I didn't get a title. Like, I got the registration title or something, not the actual title that I can use to sell my car, because the car technically is not mine yet, because I still have a little over 1 year, maybe 1.5 years, of payment to make, and I don't pay any interest, which is a good thing, right? So that's just how some banks work with car companies like Carfax, like CarMax, like what is this popular one? I think there is also car.com or cars.com, and then there are a few other ones, as well. So that's just how it works. You just go on the website, you buy the car, and then the bank will take care of everything from there. You send everything to the credit union or the bank, and then they will take it from there. So then you get the car. So recently, two of my friends have bought cars, and basically they went on an auction website, which I'll show you how to do shortly. So when they went to the website, they looked through, the offers, the cars that are available. These are auction cars. You can get a car with a clean title. You can get a car which has been an accident, right? And so they went and then they searched for the cars. So one of them bought the car for $3,500. The other one bought the car for $1,400. And I asked them when I was about to make this video if they have experienced any issues with the cars. They said there is no issue. The cars are running fine. And so I said, okay, cool. So if you want to buy a car, you can check Craigslist. Craigslist is more like, if I have a car and I want to sell it, I'll just take pictures of the car, post it on Craigslist, and then anyone who sees the car and wants to buy the car can email me, and then we can talk about it. Be careful of scammers, because there are so many scammers around. So in the US, people have no idea. There are a lot of scammers around. So if you want to engage in any transaction like that, don't send money to anybody. You have to meet the person in person, and then drive the car. Make sure the car runs smoothly. Get the title, and then you make the payment. That's how it works. Because if you send the money to the person, anybody can get pictures of cars and then sell it to you, right? So be careful. Don't send money to anybody. Meet the person. And then don't meet at an isolated place. You have to meet the person in public, and then, or ideally their house. That's how it should be, their house, and then so that you know where they live and all of that. And don't go alone, go with somebody, and then you can transact with the person. So with these friends who bought their cars on the auction site, after they bought the car, they paid for towing. So the towing company towed the car. You need to have an account on that website, and once you make payments, you pay for towing, and then they will tow the car to your address, and then that's just how it is. Now my recommendation is that if you have the money, it is better to buy a brand new car, because a brand new car is new. You get like 5 years warranty, which means within that 5 years a lot of things will be taken care of for free. And depending on the company, you could get oil change for free for a period of time. You could get the maintenance, like if like the regular maintenance can be done for free, like tire rotation, all these things can be done for free for you. So those are the advantages. And also, because it's new, we are not going to experience any issue, right? But if you buy a used car, if you're not careful, you could buy something which is not good. The person probably has identified a fault, that's why he or she is selling it. And so if you buy it and you don't do due diligence to it, then you end up buying something which becomes a burden to you. So if you want to buy a car, you have to be very careful. You have to be very, very, very careful about this. IAAI.com. Once you come to the website, this is how it looks like. I think you need to create an account if you really want to buy something from here. And when we scroll down, if you want a specific car, okay, then you can use this. And here we have some of the cars. So here, this is the price of the car, $450. The only thing is that with these auction cars, you don't get to know whether they run smoothly or not. It's more like you are taking a risk. But if you're buying something for $450, I don't see any issue with it, right? I guess this 2020 Honda Civic is just $5,300, and the mileage is 56,000. Like here they're saying that you have to register before you buy it. We can go up here, and then here too, if you want to sell your car, I think you can do it here. That's not why we are here. So let's ignore that. Let's go to Hyundai. I've just been buying Hyundai vehicles. So here you can filter by different things. You can, if you want a clean title, okay, or here they are calling it a clear title. You can also see the what are available for auction today, for tomorrow, and stuff like that. Here, if you want to bid, then you can bid, and then whoever submits a higher bid is going to get the car. Just how it is. Just like auction. Auction, you bid, and then everyone will bid, and then we see who is offering something higher. This is the first time I'm visiting this website, so I don't know much about it, but this is a place you can actually explore, and you have to check your address to see if they are everywhere. Based on what I know, I think they are in all the states. This one is specific to Illinois. I don't know what this run and drive is about. I guess means you can maybe drive small, or maybe you can drive it before you buy it. I am not too sure what this is about. This 2009 Honda Civic, they said the mileage is 200,000, over 200,000, and the price is 1,006. Here in the US, because of the good roads, you can have a car that has more than 300,000 miles and still driving well. Yeah, normally people will buy a car like this if they need certain parts which are expensive, right? So some of the dealers, they will probably, or even some of the mechanics, they will buy auction cars like this and then use the parts, because the parts are going to be expensive, like the seats, like the tires. All these things can actually, the brake parts, all these things can be used for other cars. So the price is 6,000. So yeah, this is another place. And Craigslist, the way it works is that you can filter it by your states and even by country. Okay, depending on where you are, you can have access to Craigslist. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Craigslist. It's not just cars you can buy from Craigslist. There are so many things you can buy from Craigslist, like just about everything. Just like Facebook Marketplace, the way Facebook Marketplace works. I think they got the idea from Craigslist. And so apart from Craigslist, I think you can also check Facebook Marketplace to buy a car. I'm sure you can, it's all about the arrangements, and these sites, you have to use them with caution. That's what I can tell you. If you have any question about this video, just leave it in the comment section, and I'll do my best to respond to it. Share the video with anyone who is an international student and is looking for ways to buy a car. So these are the ways that I can suggest to you. If you have found value in this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in my next video.